This video is about, is my relationship going too fast? There are 4 important signs to look out for to see if your relationship is indeed moving too fast. And to find out what those signs are, please stay tuned to this video. Welcome to the SCG Show, the home of education entertainment, and please do me a favor, if you really enjoyed this video, smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. Are you currently feeling suffocated by your partner? Or you feel more stressed by them? Or do you feel like your life is really flashing right before your very eyes at a tremendous speed? Well, it's possible you may or may not have an overbearing, controlling partner. And this happens all the time for many, many different reasons. Perhaps you're dating an older person who's ready to walk down the aisle with you in a matter of weeks or less than that. Or maybe your partner is pushing to move in with you or you with them as soon as possible. Possibly, however, it could be you who is doing all of the rushing as well. You want to meet their family or your family, you want to invite them for Christmas, etc. Or you want to take them on vacation despite them never even spending longer than a night with you, and so on. Regardless if it's them rushing or you, the fact is you've stumbled across this video and it's evident enough that something may not seem right at the moment. AKA, possibly your relationship may be moving a little bit too fast than it should. This, however, may not be a bad thing. A guy I know told a woman he loved her a week after meeting her, and now they actually have 2 beautiful children and are the happiest couple I've ever met. They've been together for over 12 years, they hardly ever fight, and they're actually really successful in their careers. However, I also know a woman who was a very nice woman who was so desperate to get married that she got married within 3 months of meeting a guy she met online. And after they got married, within 5 months, she realised she'd made a huge mistake and they're currently going through a divorce. She had married a slob who never had her best interest at heart. So these 2 scenarios are complete opposite outcomes when it comes to rushing in. However, statistically speaking, the faster the relationship moves, possibly the worse the outcome. Relationships, like most things, should never be rushed. Considering that so many marriages end in divorce these days, that should be indication enough. But also apply this to your life. Never rush into a business, a career, a hobby, anything. Do your research, relax, and take your time. Be patient. And try to calm down if things are moving too fast. And I'll try advising you with this scenario right now. So here are the 4 signs your relationship may be moving a bit too fast. Number 1. Recently single. One problem I have seen from my experience and research is people who are newly single jump in immediately straight into a brand new relationship. They usually say the following type of things like, I just absolutely hate being single, I never wanted to be single, I want to be in a relationship, I'm better in a relationship, or I'm not used to being single, I have no idea how to cope. Irrespective of how long you were in the previous relationship, jumping straight into another one is stupid, idiotic, and immature. Firstly, whether your previous relationship was 5 months or 5 years, there will be an inevitable grieving process. Or also irrespective of how the relationship has ended as well. I've covered this before in a previous video of how long it takes to actually get over a breakup. But when it comes to this situation, rushing straight into a new relationship after coming out of a previous one so soon is foolish, and as you know, only fools rush in. But you might say, but will it help me get over my ex? This is exactly why it's foolish. Falling head over heels for somebody new is not the right way to get over somebody. Time is the best healer. Working on yourself, improving yourself, realizing where and why it may have gotten wrong. Even if it was not your fault, having the emotional maturity to do this will do wonders for your recovery and your improvement. You might say, but I don't want to be alone. Look, God forbid, what if your partner, God forbid, died or moved abroad and you never saw them again? Life would force you to be alone then, wouldn't it? That is why you need to do the work on yourself to get rid of that insecurity and doubt. Look, sure, I get it. You hate being single. Join the club. A lot of people do. Now let us turn the tables and say they are the ones rushing in, and they're the ones who've been recently single doing so. Understand they are acting purely on emotion. They are reacting to the shock of recently being put back to the single market. Understand that this is what a lot of people do. And the solution is you must have a heart-to-heart with your partner. Tell them that it is moving too fast and they need to slow down. And if they're not over their ex, or you're not, to create some space, do the healing ASAP. Number 2. Planning future already. I remember going on several dates a few years back with a woman who was lovely, she was great, but she was extremely clingy. I was young and quite naive at the time, just looking to have fun and nothing more. Her, however, she was the complete opposite. She had, on one evening, done the following. She planned to take me to her sister's wedding. She planned a vacation for us both 6 months in advance. She was talking about looking for a place for us to rent and the ideal places for us to live. And we'd only gone out on 5 dates. This woman was the kind of person who was so organised that it came across as quite controlling. Now, initially, I found it quite sweet, but how so she desperately wanted me to be in and around her life. But suddenly, over time, I found it a bit odd. And then I was completely turned off. The demands just grew larger and larger. She was planning almost years in advance. I confronted her then and I said, whoa, 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 you're moving too fast. And she replied, well, I will have to look elsewhere then for my husband. Ultimately, the reason I could believe she was doing so was so how badly she got burnt in a previous relationship. She assumed that if somebody could not commit, especially early on, then there would be no reason to continue dating anybody. Now, if your relationship has not gone anywhere in several years or whatever, I totally get that. But if early on, planning in the future is going on already, you're moving too fast. Or perhaps they are moving too fast. Now, having similar relationship goals is quite different from planning in the future. If you're on a date with somebody who has the intention of settling down and starting a family one day, it is quite different to actually forcing someone to do so quickly. Like, here are two contrasting examples of this. For example, oh, I love to settle down with the right kind of partner when the time is right. Or, I want to be married in the next 12 months, kids in the next 2 years, let's start looking at a house to rent or somewhere to buy. Hold your horses, slow the heck down. Another enormous mistake most people make when dating, and a key sign that a relationship is moving too fast, is they presume the end goal almost immediately. There's no time frame for it, and to most people, the end goal with dating is actually marriage and kids sometimes. And because of this, things may spiral out of control. People assume the very moment they start dating, they're going to get married ASAP. Their head gets filled with candy and all of the sort of lovey Disney feelings, and they think to themselves, this is it, I've met them, when they're not actually experiencing what's going on. They may ignore red flags and so on and so forth. They just immediately jump and assume that this person that they've just met is the one, or their soulmates, and you've barely met or known this person at all. You've only seen them really, if you think about it, if you're dating and you've not lived together, you've not bought a house together, whatever, you only see them at their best, which is in a bar or a restaurant, or when you're Netflix and chill, or you're all dolled up looking fresh and sexy. But have you seen them unshaven? Have you seen them with no makeup? Have you seen them at their worst? By presuming the end goal and so early on, it's a real recipe for disaster. The reason why is because you're putting unnecessary pressure on a relationship that is purely in its tiny, tiny infancy. There is so much time to get to this stage. There are so many life hurdles to get through. Why presume that you've met your husband or future wife on date number 3? Why put the pressure on them so early on? Why put the pressure on yourself too? You start overthinking, you start worrying, and then insecurity creeps in, and then it's game over. Worry about more important things rather than getting married early on, like your health, your career, your money, where you're going to live, so on and so forth. Trust me, there's more important, vital, urgent things you need to address than your early relationship that's moving too fast. Another old chestnut that goes hand in hand with the presumption of marriage is assuming you're going to have kids, and you're going to have them quickly too. A woman I know who was in her mid-30s dated a slightly younger man and expected him, despite how well they got along, to get married and have kids ASAP. With her biological clock ticking, she wanted him to rush into it as soon as possible. Rushing into a family like this is a recipe for chaos and disaster. However, men do this too. A man I know who is in early 40s is a family friend, and he did exactly this. He was so desperate to be a dad, he was rushing into all types of relationships. And naturally he dated a woman who, guess what, gave him exactly what he wanted. She eventually married him and then became pregnant 3 months after they started dating. Now they're divorced and their poor child is miserable as a result. Presuming kids like marriage is going to scare people off, or worse, make them resent you. Ultimately, starting a family is not like taking out a mobile phone plan. It is a huge commitment which must never ever be rushed or pressured. It must be thought out carefully. Not only are you potentially ruining your own life, but that of your potential offspring. My solutions to rushing into a relationship, however, go as follows. Date as much as you can and get to identify familiar red flags. Have similar goals. Before even thinking about marriage, discuss moving in together. Rent together first before you buy. Conquer as many hurdles as you can as a team through life. That is a good indication that you work well together and you can succeed as a couple. The goal is to have a good, healthy, and happy relationship, not just any relationship. Never one of convenience as well. Good luck, and thanks for watching.